Google is search engines cannot understand the content in a video itself. And search engines cannot understand what a picture is. So when you include an image in a blog post, it doesn't know what that image is of, which is why we have to use words in the background to give search engines the clues as to what is actually in the video content.
My name is Peter Sumpton, and you're listening to the Marketing Study Lab podcast, the podcast that gives you actionable marketing knowledge, getting you and your marketing in the best possible shape to be the driving force of your business for long-term success. From strategy and tactics to practical application, we've got it all covered. If you'd like to support the show, it'd be fantastic if you could leave a 5-star Apple Podcast review or get in touch, especially if you have a burning marketing question. I'd love to chat it through with you. Email me, peter@marketingstudylab.co.uk. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. There's a link in the show notes if you can't be bothered searching on LinkedIn. So what are we going to learn, and who's on Marketing Study Lab today? If you're into working smarter, not harder, then this week's guest is for you. Natalie Alleblas, the SEO Sleuth, is here to talk about SEO. With a love of data from working for one of Australia's big 4 banks and words, beginning her career in PR, Nat's ethos is to save time and money by helping you implement SEO so you can be found online. If you don't know what SEO is, it means search engine optimization, which we'll cover later as we chat to Nat. There's no dark arts, no dodgy stuff, just a nerd and her numbers. Nat practices what she preaches and utilises her skills in her own businesses, making all that important organic traffic work as hard as it possibly can. Before we get into all this SEO, I was hoping Nat could help me out with another issue here. I want to start importing Vegemite. Nat, can you help me?
Can I help you import Vegemite? I can do one better than that. You can actually manufacture it over there and put a huge tariff on it so that nobody here can afford to buy it anymore, and it's no longer in Australia and it's gone for good because I absolutely hate the stuff.
Brilliant. Right, I'm going to start some kind of business on the side then in Vegemite. Although I'm a bit concerned that my garage will be full of Vegemite.
Yeah.
So I might have to think that one through first. So hold off on the importing, but it's good to know that you've got my back.
Not a problem.
Right, let's get a bit more serious. What's your story that brings you to this point in your career?
Okay, so I guess the most recent part of my career history, about 5 years ago, I was made redundant from my corporate job. I worked in banking and finance for 10 years as a mortgage consultant for one of the big 4 banks here in Australia, and I was made redundant. And actually, a few months before I was made redundant, I started a blog because I thought it'd be something fun to do, and I started a blog about minimalism because at the time I was going through a phase of trying to simplify my life, make things easier. I was decluttering my house. I was a few years ahead of Marie Kondo. So I created this minimalism blog and learnt how to use WordPress, taught myself how to do it all. Then was made redundant, and I thought, well, this is a good opportunity now to start a business, as I'd always wanted to start a business, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought, let's use this as a great opportunity. So I actually did the minimalism blog, and kind of fell into SEO by accident. Didn't really know what SEO was, but in building that blog, I ended up being a guest post on a large minimalism site in America. So I wrote a guest post for her, and then she linked back to my blog. And that was the start of SEO, but I didn't realize exactly what SEO was. I was doing the posting from the point of view of marketing myself and promoting myself, the traditional reasons, rather than thinking of it from an SEO perspective. And then I started a travel blog a few months later because we were traveling to the UK and Europe with family, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to write about our adventures? And came back, and everyone says when you do a blog, if you want to monetize your blog, you've got to treat it like a business and not just a hobby. So I thought, I'm going to spend 8 hours a day working on this blog. It's going to make me money and it's going to do really well. And I started to get a lot of social media traction. I was on Facebook, Pinterest, doing all the typical things. But I was doing it every day. And it was a lot of fun, and I was getting a lot of people linking back to my content, people sharing it. But then it got to a point where I thought, I don't want to do this 8 hours a day. This is not sustainable, and I can't see how I'm going to turn this into a money-making business. And a copywriting friend of mine who I met through blogging, I said to her, how do these bloggers that are, sitting by the pool with a laptop in their lap and they've got their cocktail in their hand, how are they doing this? This seems like a real fraud to me. And she said, look, why don't you look into SEO? And that was when I thought, okay, what is this SEO? How's this going to help me with blogging? So I went away and basically taught myself just from, reading information on the internet and following some well-known people. And that was how I learned about SEO. So I started a new blog after knowing all this information, and it was about health and wellness products that you use around your house. So essential oil diffusers, water filters, that sort of thing. And I used everything I taught myself about SEO when I was writing this content. And I joined the Amazon affiliate marketing program in the US, where if I have a link in my content, someone clicks on that link, goes to Amazon, buys any product, I then earn commission. So I started earning affiliate income just through being able to implement SEO and everything that I'd learned. And this copywriting friend said to me, wow, you've got a knack for keyword research. You found all these low competition keywords, and you very quickly have been able to build a following and build your SEO that way. She said, look, I hate doing keyword research, but I've got a client that needs it. Can I outsource it to you? And I never thought about, offering that as a service, but did the keyword research for her, and it really started from there. She started referring me to other copywriters, and I was just doing it on the side, and I called myself a digital marketer, which a lot of people do, but what exactly is that? It's just such a broad term. And it wasn't until sort of around April this year that I decided to own my niche. I was always working mainly with copywriters over the last 5 years, but I never really marketed myself as somebody who did SEO for copywriters. But this year, that's where I've really niched down and focused, and that's where I've had a lot of success now with getting copywriters to outsource their clients' keyword research to me, and that's what I help them with.
The best thing about that story is the fact that you went through a progression, step by step stage. It wasn't I want to become this, I want to do this, I want to do that. It was finding your feet, finding your feet on digital, etc., and that led you to SEO and something you enjoy. And it just highlights to me and everybody that's listening that there isn't just one particular path.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make our own paths, and sometimes things happen and they just happen for a reason, and you go with them, and that's led you to here. And, the best thing is it's led you to speaking to me today.
Exactly. And it's funny because it's really the success has come from, I guess, going back to the basics of marketing and finding out who your ideal client is, and then, niching down and really focusing on delivering to that one person that you have in mind. And that was something that took me 5 years to get to. It was something that I knew already from studying years ago, but you just, you hear all these other things that are, being promoted, and all these gurus that know the answer to everything. But when it comes down to it, it really does go back to those basic building blocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So right now, today, can you explain what you do? Maybe not like today, but just in general, what do you do?
Yes, so there's a couple of things I do. So I mainly I do keyword research for copywriters and marketers. So people that write content for businesses, and they outsource their keyword research to me. So what I do is I find the keywords that people are searching for to find that business, and then I let the copywriters know these are the keywords that you should be weaving in your content when you're writing content for your clients. So that's the main thing that I do in my business. I do other sort of SEO audits as well, and copy and competitors analysis. But another thing I've just started doing is teaching businesses how to implement their own SEO. So I've just launched a course, an online SEO course. That's another element to my business. So I do find a lot of non-copywriters come to me as well, wanting help with SEO, but I prefer to work with copywriters, but I do offer them the opportunity to learn through my course, and I do a free SEO challenge as well.
That's cool. We'll put all the links in the show notes for anybody that's interested in that, and there surely should be, because SEO's a massive part of anybody's strategy nowadays. So let's start big. Why not? What makes a good SEO strategy?
Look, I think one of the things that and I'll admit, a lot of SEO consultants and agencies forget this as well, but really SEO is just one part of your overall marketing strategy. It's not something that's separate to everything else that you do in your business. And that's what I say to people when they're trying to implement SEO. It's not a set and forget exercise. It's not something that you do once in your business, on your website, and then move on to something else. It's something that is always evolving and changing as your business grows. So all the marketing or the promotional activities that you do in your business, whether it's as simple as writing a guest post on someone's blog, or it could be a podcast interview guest, or you're attending an event, you're a guest speaker, what have you, all those promotional things that you're doing in your business are going to have an impact on your SEO. So it's always thinking about, rather than just putting the keywords in the content, how else can I grow my website? What other activities can I do with my marketing that will then bring it back to SEO? So that's one of the most important things I think in implementing SEO, is thinking about it in terms of the overall picture and not just something that's separate to everything else that you do.
It's quite interesting that, because it's almost flipped on its head there. And I've never thought of it like that. So I've always thought of SEO as part of a bigger marketing plan, bigger marketing strategy. And like you were saying previously, start with your personas, your target clients, etc., and build from there.
Yes.
But in a way, it's almost a case of looking at the activity and fitting that into SEO. Now I'm not saying start with your SEO and what do you want to feature for, but in a weird way, you're working backwards as well as forwards, in that what are you doing? What's your promotion elements? Who works for you? What are they saying? And all that kind of stuff can link to SEO, and I've never seen it like that. It's really interesting.
I think a lot of people forget that, and that's the sad thing about SEO, and that's the reason why it doesn't work for a lot of businesses, is because they don't think about SEO in terms of everything else that they're doing. They're not thinking about, how am I marketing my business every day? If I'm not marketing my business, I'm not going to grow my business, and the SEO isn't going to improve either. So it is really, you got to look at the bigger picture, and I think it's going to start happening a lot more now, as Google is trying to say, Google doesn't tell us what they're doing, but it is all about proving your expertise, your authority, and your trustworthiness. It's something that they call EAT. It's an acronym that's only been talked about a lot in the past 12 months. And it's about using your website as a way to prove that you're an expert in your field, and that you've got authority, and that you're trustworthy. And that comes from everyday activities that you do in your business. What I'm doing with you right now, Peter, I'm sharing my expertise and building trust with you and your audience. And that's what we all have to do in our business. That's going to help our SEO.
Okay, so you're imparting your knowledge to us. Let's test that knowledge. Can you take us through the steps you take to create a keyword list?
Yeah, sure. So what I usually do with my clients is I send them a brief with a list of questions that they would answer, and I'll go through some of these questions with you now. So I create a list. It's like a brainstorming list of words. So I would think about questions such as, what do my customers ask me, or what do my clients ask me about my products or services? What am I known for? And I'll write these words down. What am I known for? I'm known for being, an SEO consultant, or SEO sleuth, as I call myself. What are the different words and phrases that someone can use to describe me? So it's not just the word that you think somebody uses to describe you, but what are some similar words that they could use? And this is where a lot of people don't realise that what they think they're known for, or what they think people are searching for, may not actually be the word that they type into Google. They may type in a completely different word. What keywords are my competitors ranking for? So I'll do a quick analysis of what they're ranking for. Are there any of those keywords that perhaps I could research for my own business? And then I'd use a tool which I'll show you later on called Answer the Public. It's a free tool where I can type in a keyword and it spits a lot of, keyword ideas, blog topic ideas as well. So they're the sorts of questions that I think about, and then come up with a brainstorming list. And then once I've got that, which I call my seed keyword list, I can go to my tool that I use for keyword research, and then start entering those words in and seeing what it comes back with.
I love the fact, and it just highlights that words are massively powerful, what you use, and you say SEO sleuth, and as soon as you add that, because it could just be SEO specialist,
Yes.
or strategist or something like that, but sleuth, it just straight away it's just click, and you start thinking of different things like detective and magnifying glasses and things like that. It's so powerful.
And that's actually, I have to say, it was my copywriting friend that came up with that term. Of course, a copywriter would come up with something as brilliant as that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it's okay. No one's listening. You can still take credit for it. It's absolutely fine. So should we, once you've done that, should we be actually, when it comes to writing, should we be actually writing for an audience or our target market, or writing for the search engine? Well, let's just say writing for Google.
Yeah. Look, it's really about writing for your audience, for your reader first and foremost, because in the past it was all about writing for search engines first. And you would have seen that when you were reading content online and everything was keyword stuffed and it didn't read well, it didn't flow well. People would write text in white, just write keywords in white so that they could just stuff as many keywords as possible. And obviously we've moved away from that mostly, and it's all about writing for your reader first and foremost. Keeping them in mind, because obviously they're the ones that need to come to your website, read your content, and then hopefully convert into a client or what have you. So it's definitely readers first, Google second. The keywords, yes, keywords are important for search engines to be able to find your content, but it's also a form of market research where you can find out exactly what your readers are wanting, what content they're after, what questions are they asking, and how can you answer those questions. So when you look at keyword research that way, it's really about your reader first and foremost.
Excellent. Nice, succinctly put there. You hit on something about keywords. And for me personally, and I suppose this is more of a traditional viewpoint than anything, but SEO is traditionally seen to be all about the words. But as we're moving forward with things like voice and images and video being part of everybody's strategy, particularly online, is it still all about words? I mean, is voice going to play a part in how we look at keywords and SEO and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, definitely is all a part of that. So there's two reasons why it's a part of SEO as well. Firstly, it's about getting people to consume your content, and more people are preferring video because it's just easier and more fun to watch than reading text. So it's about obviously catering to what our readers want from us and including video perhaps within a blog post or what have you. But also remembering that Google is search engines cannot understand the content in a video itself. And search engines cannot understand what a picture is. So when you include an image in a blog post, it doesn't know what that image is of, which is why we have to use words in the background to give search engines the clues as to what is actually in the video content. So if you're uploading a video to YouTube, for example, you'd want to put in a detailed description with some keywords in that description so that Google understands what content is in that video. And also, if you're uploading video onto your blog post, it's a good idea, if you can, to put a transcription perhaps underneath, because then again, that's words that Google can scan through and read to understand. But with voice search is a really interesting one because that's a really growing area of SEO, and they predict by middle of next year that 60% of searches will be voice searches. So voice search is very different in that people tend to use longer phrases when they're asking a question rather than when they're typing a query into Google. And they're typically questions that start with, what, who, why, where. So where is the nearest doctor to me? How old is the Queen of England? So they're usually longer phrases. And so we need to think about the longer phrases and the fact that they're more conversational. When you're typing something into Google, it might be, you might type in black sneakers, Reebok or something, really short and it's not conversational. Whereas with voice, it's a lot more, where can I buy a pair of black sneakers, what have you. So it's a longer phrase, it's more conversational. So when you write your content, the idea is to write it in a more conversational way and have sentences that are a bit more succinct, shorter, so that Google can then pick up on that. And also with voice for local businesses, it's including your physical location somewhere on your website, making sure that you include your trading hours as well, because often people will say, where is the nearest Japanese restaurant? And if you've got your address on there and you're nearby, then you might more likely show up. So it's tweaking your content to suit the changes and the difference in voice.
It's going to be an interesting year next year with voice, simply because it's almost like some people come on the podcast, or you get on a phone call and you see it in offices, or you see it everywhere, but their voice suddenly changes. So depending on the demographic and age and all that kind of stuff, you've got
Yeah.
the local dialect to consider, you got the local slang terms, but you've also got that sort of thing of, right, okay, how would I say that? Right, I'd say it like this. And then when it comes to it, it's completely different. How you, as soon as you press the record button,
Yeah.
everybody changes.
It's so true. It'd be interesting to see, how with voice and how everything's going to change and how we handle voice. And I think larger businesses are now starting to have, a little voice. What's the word? Like a slogan, a verbal. I can't describe it, but Gary Vaynerchuk.
Strapline.
Yeah, like Gary Vaynerchuk now has like a little sound at the end of his videos, which,
Okay.
so that you can start to associate him with that sound. I think, a lot of the bigger businesses already do that. You might hear certain sounds and know, oh yeah, that's definitely a BMW ad or something. So I think that will become more important. But I don't know for small businesses whether it's going to be quite so much an issue in the early days. I think voice for small businesses is going to be more about, if you are a local business, having that physical location on your website and having, your trading hours, all those basics on there, so that when people do search for you, they can find you showing up on Google.
Mm-hmm. I think within marketing, a lot of things are cyclical. So you picked up on the almost theme tune, or the outro and the intro music and all that kind of stuff. You think of McDonald's. I'm not sure if it's the same in where you are, but in the UK, there's a whistle at the end of their adverts.
Yes.
Intel have got their and that kind of stuff. So it's almost gone round in a full circle, where we've gone from this open advertising, big budgets on TV to mass, and then we've gone to no, you need to be dead specific, personalization,
Yes.
And now we move into voice, and it's like, no, we need something that's repetitive that everyone's going to understand, and it's always cyclical, but it's a mixture of everything.
That's right.
I get that.
Agree.
So what software should we be using then if we want to get better at SEO? What can help us here? But before that, I just want to say that this is a first for Marketing Study Lab, because what I want to do is hand over to Nat, and we're going to record this via video, and whatever software or tools Nat shows us, we'll record it, and it will be on the website, marketingstudylab.co.uk, be on our YouTube channel, and I'll probably post it on some social. So if you want to hop over to video or just listen in, because you get as much value from listening to what Nat has to say as you do from watching it. But if you prefer it to be visual, then please jump over to one of those channels. Back over to you, Nat.
Okay, there are so many tools out there for SEO, and most of them are paid, quite expensive. But look, I use some free tools, one called Answer the Public, which is a great sort of free tool for keyword research brainstorming. So in the early stages of keyword research, when you are not sure of what keywords to include or what to start searching, you could use this tool. The site is Answer the Public.
Hang on. This guy's changed. I've seen him before. He's definitely
younger,
getting younger, and he hasn't got a beard anymore or a woolly jumper, which is ironic because it's freezing outside here.
Maybe he's an Aussie like me. He doesn't need the woolly jumper, but he's also not grumpy. The old man was a bit grumpy, I think. So I think this guy's a bit.
That is true.
Although I don't know about the cleaning the teeth. That's a bit too much information.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I interrupted you there. Just a bit of a surprise.
Yeah. So we have a box here. So this tool is free up to a limited number of searches a day. I think it's only 3 or 4, and then you do need to start paying to use it more. But I would just type in a phrase. So I might type in sunglasses and then click on Get Questions. And what this tool does is it brings up a whole bunch of keywords, phrases, things that people search for or ask about when they're wanting to find out about a topic. And then when we scroll down, they show up in this very, complicated, but it's quite a full list here of different types of questions. So you've got here, sunglasses on Amazon authentic, are sunglasses FSA approved? Are sunglasses covered by VSP, etc., etc.? And so there's a whole bunch of keywords there. If you scroll down more, it then sorts them out into, question keywords and comparison phrases. But what I do is I don't like the way that it's laid out. And if you are a nerd like me, you may want to
Yeah.
download a CSV. So on the right here, you've got the CSV button, and you can then download it into Excel or Google Sheets, open it up, and then I then manipulate that data so that I can end up with a nicer looking list. So I'll go through then and filter out the keywords that I don't need or that don't make sense. So here it lists everything in order. So here it first lists all the questions. So any keywords that are question keywords. Will sunglasses block blue light? Will sunglasses help blue light? Can sunglasses be repaired? Can sunglasses give you a headache, etc.? So it sorts it out. And in the column next to that, it has the modifier. So it sorts out, so this first part here is questions that have will. Then the next part is can questions, where, why, etc., etc. So you can go through there, and then if you go further down, you've got prepositions, and it just keeps on going. So it really depends on the keyword that you type in as to how many results you get. But this is a really good start if you're not sure about some basic keywords to search for, or if you even want some ideas for blog topics. So if you're not sure what to write about, you could use.
So you've got that list. You've taken it. You've done your nerdy thing and put it in Excel. What would you do now with it? Because I don't know how many lines there are on there, but I'm guessing there's hundreds.
Yes. So in terms of how I would filter these out. Yeah. So I mean, I add in the filter function here on Excel, and then I would start to sort through and for myself, I know if I'm looking for long tail keywords for voice search, that I'm more interested in the question keywords. So then I would want to remove anything that isn't a question. So I would select that, and I'd probably click on all of these options here because I want to get rid of them. They'll just bring up any keywords that are not question keywords, and then I'll just go through and delete them. So that's how I sort of filter through my list until I come up with what I'm after.
Yeah, and there's so many on there. It's, if I mean, sometimes we can really struggle for content. I know every now and again I'll wake up, I'll do what I need to do, and then sit down, and you just think, okay, content. What can I do? But and this is just one of the tools, and it's just there's so much on there. It's unreal.
It is, and I use it. I use it quite a bit if the client that I'm working with is quite niche, or if it's a client where I'm not too familiar with the service that they offer and I want to find out a little bit more, then I will go in there and do that quick search. Like I said before, though, it depends on, not every keyword will give you this many results. I just typed in the word sunglasses because it's just one word. If you typed in a longer phrase, and you may get fewer results. So you just need to keep that in mind. But it's a great tool, and it's free. I think 3 or 4 searches you can do a day before you have to start paying for it. But yeah, it's usually sufficient enough.
And that took about 2 minutes, especially if you've used it once or twice.
That's right.
That to get to this stage before you start filtering and working things out, it took about 2 minutes.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a very easy tool to use. And, I love being able to download anything into Excel because I love being able to manipulate data.
Okay. Nat, that was great. Thanks so much for taking us through Answer the Public. But now, are you ready to answer some quickfire questions?
Oh, yes, I am. Far away.
Cool. Name one must-read business book.
Oh, look, Chillpreneur by Denise Duffield Thomas. It is targeted towards women, so I will say that. But I love it because she goes back to the basics. About how to deal with pricing your services, about conversion, about dealing with, just the basics of business, which I wish I'd read 5 years ago. So that was a good book. And another one I'll quickly plug is Jill Andrews. Her book just came out today called Making Your Website Work. I haven't read it yet, but I have ordered it. It's on its way. And she's fantastic. She shares a lot of tips about improving your copy and design on your website. So I'm really excited about reading her books. That's Jill Andrews.
Okay, excellent. What was the last thing you Googled?
Marine insurance.
Nice one.
And if you're wondering what marine insurance is, it's insurance for cargo, for ships out at sea. So if they lose cargo or the ship sets on fire or something like that. Okay, so it's for a client.
Do you do a lot of shipping? Is this for the Vegemite thing we were talking about at the start?
Yeah, I like that connection. I'm already planning ahead.
Brilliant. What would be your one tip for people who are studying?
Wow. Look, I just stopped studying 3 years ago. So I think it would be to, remember that, remember to go back to the basics. Whatever you're studying now, you may think, how is this relevant in business or in marketing or in the future? But you'll always go back to things that you learned from the start. So just remember the core basics that you're learning as you're studying. And when you are doing exams or assignments, try and think about what the aim of that assignment is and answer that question and make sure that what you're writing, read your rubrics if you get rubrics from your teachers. But yeah, just try and find out what's the aim and then meeting that aim.
If you could tell your 10-year-old self one thing, what would it be?
Don't ever try Vegemite.
Brilliant. Okay, final question. If people want to find you, where should they go?
Look, I've got a website, natalleblas.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, and I'm on LinkedIn a lot. So if you're on social media, you can find me on there as well, Nat Alleblas.
Nat, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Peter. Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Excellent. That's brilliant. Thank you. Really enjoyed that.
No worries. Thank you. I enjoyed that too. It was great.
Nice link with the Vegemite.
No, that was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
And I like, with the marine insurance. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Jill Andrews has actually been on the show.
Oh, right. I haven't actually. Okay, I'll have to go back and find it.
It was quite early on, but check it out. It's a 2-parter, and she goes through like a whole host of things. Probably everything's in the book, but really interesting. She's good on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, she's fantastic. That's how I found out about it, was on LinkedIn. So I follow all of her website tips. I'm looking forward to reading the book. I just ordered it today from Amazon.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Excellent. Good stuff. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. Just to let you know a bit of background stuff.
Sure.
So you'll be the last episode before Christmas.
Wow. Special.
17th of December.
Okay.
But what I'll do, I'll be in touch before then. I'll do all the edits and everything, send you everything across before then, let you know when it's coming out and all that, and I'll tag you in it anyway.
Yeah, sure. No worries, Peter. That sounds great. And I'll obviously share that as well on social media. I'm on Facebook as well. Yeah. So I'll put that on there too. Love it. That's great.
I'll find you on Facebook as well, because then I can tag you in it.
Yeah, sure. So I think on Facebook it's Alleblas SEO Sleuth, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think I've just liked your page today anyway, so you probably.
All right, nice one.
Able to find me.
Excellent. That's
awesome.
Good stuff. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. What time is it over there?
9:45 in the evening.
Yeah, excellent.
It's actually good because when I booked the time, I didn't think about the change in time zones. Obviously, the calendar automatically accounts for that. But then I thought for a minute that we might be meeting up at 11 p.m. my time, and I thought, this will be an interesting conversation. Didn't get much sleep last night. It's been really hot in Melbourne. We had 42 degrees today, believe it or not.
Wow.
And it was really windy, and it was like a dust storm. It was like a mini tornado. So we're all pretty tired today now, but hopefully, the hot weather's gone for now. So.
Well, if it helps, it's about 4 degrees here. So.
4, wow. Yeah. I don't know, 40 or 4, which one sounds better?
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those, isn't it? You can't have it both ways, but it's not pleasant at the moment. Just freaking freezing. No.
Whereabouts in the UK are you?
Near Liverpool.
Okay, right.
So north.
So probably, colder up there than south.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. I mean, it's mad because we're such a small island. Yeah, if I went down to London, and I know it's not rural here, but you'd probably class it as rural. But if I go down to London, the difference, and I know it's a city, so it will be warmer, but the difference in temperature is unreal. Sometimes it's like, it can be jumper weather here. You go down to London and it's you're in a t-shirt, and for such a small place, it's weird.
Yeah, I know. With us, it's the opposite because it's such a big country that we have different weather. I prefer it down here because Melbourne's down south. It's a lot cooler. It's nicer. Whereas I couldn't handle the tropical weather. I hate humidity, so that would never sit well with me.
No.
Yeah.
Same here. Give me a bit of a cool breeze. I love the heat. I love the warmth. Not the sun, just the warmth.
Yeah.
It's just the humidity that does it. It can be a killer.
Yeah, that's right. It makes you exhausted. And today I didn't feel like working. It was just so hot.
Yeah.
You're just exhausted and you can't be bothered. So tomorrow it's back to being a productive Nat, back into it. Marine insurance.
Brilliant. I love it. Okay, well, enjoy the marine insurance.
Thank you. Thanks, Peter. Thanks again.
Yeah,
I appreciate
I'll be in touch very soon. Take care.
Okay, then.
Bye.
Chat soon. Bye.
Bye. Thanks once again, Nat, for joining us today on Marketing Study Lab. Just time for a couple of quick takeaways that I got from my interesting chat with Nat, apart from the fact that I'm going to start selling Vegemite, apparently. Anyway, SEO isn't just one part of a marketing strategy. It can infiltrate every facet of it. Think about it. Everything we do, from the customers we speak to the product descriptions we provide, can impact SEO in some way, either by helping to create the right content or fundamentally being visible online, which is the overall aim of it, isn't it? If you haven't heard of EAT before, Nat has now brought it to our attention. EAT is a Google acronym for expertise, authoritativeness, easy for me to say, and trustworthiness, which is what Google are looking for in terms of website content and author. Interesting. Check it out. So if you're an expert in your field and you write about your experty thing, you're EAT-tastic. And that's what we want to do for engagement through SEO. And finally, which links nicely, at the end of the day, make sure you're writing for your audience. If your content is on point about a particular subject matter and it's written for those who care about it, you're pretty much onto an SEO winner. Thank you so much for joining us today on Marketing Study Lab. It really means the world that you're listening to this out there. And hopefully I've provided you some value. If you're looking to know more about what Marketing Study Lab does and is about, go to marketingstudylab.co.uk or get in touch with me personally, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or feel free to email me at peter@marketingstudylab.co.uk. Happy marketing.